At 11:53 p.m. on one of the coldest nights of the year, a 17-year-old girl burst into Ellis March's taxi like she was running from death itself. She slammed the door, shaking from head to toe, and whispered in a broken voice, "Drive, please don't stop. Don't let him find me." Ellis turned the rearview mirror. Her eyes? It was like looking at someone who'd already seen the worst the world had to offer and had no strength left to run. A wrist marked by fingers, a phone powered off in panic, a backpack that was clearly everything she owned, and the question that changed the course of that night. If I go back, I don't know what he'll do to me. If real stories like this move you, subscribe now to Taxi Driver Stories. Here, every ride hides a life, and some change everything. As the taxi accelerated through the frozen streets of New York, Ellis realized this wasn't just a ride, it was a cry for help. And maybe the last chance for a girl to escape someone who claimed to love her, but only knew how to control. Midnight, New York City, 15 degrees and dropping. Ellis March sat in his taxi outside Penn Station, engine idling, watching his breath fog the windshield. Most drivers had gone home hours ago. The cold was brutal, the streets were empty. But Ellis never went home early anymore. 8 years since Danny died. 8 years since Claire left. 8 years of filling every empty hour with strangers and their destinations. Going home meant silence, and silence meant remembering. So he stayed. That's when he saw her. A teenage girl stumbling out of the station entrance. Thin denim jacket over a hoodie, nowhere near warm enough. Heavy backpack pulling her shoulders down. Looking over her shoulder every few seconds like someone was hunting her. She spotted his taxi and ran. Yanked the door open, threw herself inside. "Drive," she gasped. "Just drive, don't stop." Ellis looked at her in the mirror. 17, maybe. Dark hair in a messy ponytail, makeup smudged and running. And on her left wrist, a purple bruise shaped like fingers. Every instinct screamed runaway. And runaways meant complications, police, parents, questions. But Ellis saw her face. Raw terror. He started driving. "Name's Ellis," he said carefully, watching her in the mirror. The girl kept staring out the back window. "Jess." "You got somewhere you need to be, Jess?" "Away, just away from here." Ellis pulled through a red light, empty intersection, no cars. "Someone chasing you?" Jess's hands were shaking so badly she couldn't zip her backpack. "Maybe." "Police looking for you?" "No, nothing like that." Ellis drove randomly through Manhattan, buying time. "How old are you?" Jess lifted her chin. 18. Try again. Her defiance collapsed. 17. Almost. Ellis nodded slowly. The bruise on her wrist told him everything he needed to know. "Where are your parents?" Jess's expression went hard as stone. "I don't have parents anymore." They'd been driving 5 minutes when Jess pulled out her phone, looked at the screen, and her face went white. She immediately powered it off and shoved it deep into her backpack. Ellis watched. "Tracking your phone?" Jess's eyes snapped to the mirror. "How did you—" "I've been driving this city 8 years. I've seen everything." Jess was quiet. Then, "My stepdad. He has this app, sees where I am if my phone's on." Ellis felt anger kindle in his chest. "He the one who grabbed your wrist?" Jess pulled her sleeve down fast, covering the bruise. "It's complicated." "It always is," Ellis said quietly. "But bruises aren't complicated." Jess's eyes filled with tears. He's not a monster. He just needs to know where I am, every second, every minute. Says it's because he loves me." Her voice cracked. "He put cameras in my bedroom, reads all my texts, tracks my location, makes me check in every hour." She looked at Ellis in the mirror.
But love isn't supposed to feel like drowning, is it?
Ellis pulled into a 24-hour diner in Queens. Warm light, empty booths, coffee that could wake the dead. "Come on," he said. "You need food." Jess followed him inside, clutching her backpack like a lifeline. They slid into a booth. Ellis ordered hot chocolate, soup, sandwiches. Jess stared at the menu like she hadn't eaten in days. "When's the last time you ate?" "Yesterday morning." The food came. Jess ate like she was starving. Ellis watched her and felt something shift in his chest. She was just a kid, a scared kid running from something she shouldn't have to run from. "Tell me about your plan," Ellis said. "Where are you heading?" Jess hesitated. "Boston. I have a bus ticket. Leaves at 6 a.m. "You got family there?" "A friend, Maya. We met online. She said I could stay with her until I figure things out." Ellis's stomach dropped. "You ever met this Maya in person?" "No, but we've been friends for 2 years. I video chatted with her. She's real." Ellis leaned forward. "Jess." "It's not as if she had parents convinced she was a terrorist," Jess interrupted. "I know what you're thinking, that it's dangerous, but I don't have any other choice." Her voice broke. "I can't go back there. I can't live with cameras watching me sleep. I can't breathe there." Ellis sat back, studying her. "I had a son," he said quietly. "My 8-year-old son, Danny. He died 8 years ago. Car accident. He was 7. Jess's expression softened. "I'm sorry. After he died, my wife left, and I spent 8 years telling myself I deserved to be alone because I'd failed as a father." He met Jess's eyes. "I drove a taxi because it meant always moving, never staying still, never facing what I'd lost." Jess was listening intently now. "But you know what I realized recently? Running doesn't fix anything. It just postpones the pain." Jess looked down. "I'm not running from pain. I'm running from someone who's suffocating me." "I know, and I'm not saying go back. But getting on a bus to meet a stranger isn't a plan. It's desperation." Jess's eyes filled with tears. "What else am I supposed to do?" "Let me help you find a real solution." "They'll send me back," Jess said, her voice rising. "I'm not 18. The system doesn't care about kids with overprotective parents." Her voice cracked. "No one believes kids like me." Jess's powered-off phone suddenly vibrated loudly inside her backpack. Both of them froze. "I thought you turned it off," Ellis said. "I did." Jess's face went pale. He can turn it back on remotely." She grabbed the phone and stared at the screen in horror. 23 missed calls, 47 texts, and a notification, "Location services enabled." "Oh my God," Jess breathed. "He's been tracking me. He knows where I am." She checked the log. 15 minutes. It's been on for 15 minutes. She looked at Ellis with absolute terror. "He's probably already on his way here."
Ellis made a split-second decision. "Leave the phone. We're going. Now." Jess shoved the phone under the booth seat, grabbed her backpack, and ran. They drove fast through Queens, Ellis checking every mirror. His phone rang. Unknown number. Ellis answered on Bluetooth. "Hello?" A man's voice, tight, with controlled rage. "I know you have my daughter. I tracked her phone to that diner. I got your license plate." Ellis's blood went cold. "Bring her home now, or I'm calling the police and reporting a kidnapping." Jess was crying silently in the back seat. "She came to me for help," Ellis said carefully. "She's scared. She's a child who doesn't understand how dangerous the world is. I'm protecting her." "By putting cameras in her bedroom?" The man's voice went ice cold. "You don't know anything about my family. Bring her home in 1 hour or you'll lose your taxi license. You'll go to jail, and Jessica comes home anyway." The line went dead. Ellis pulled over, turned to face Jess. "He's threatening to report me for kidnapping if I don't bring you back." Jess's face crumpled. So you're taking me back. Ellis looked at this terrified 17-year-old and saw his own son, saw all the times he hadn't been there, all the times he'd chosen the easy path. No, Ellis said firmly, I'm not taking you back. Jess's eyes went wide. But he said, I know what he said, but I'm not handing you over to someone who treats you like property. Ellis pulled out his phone and made a call. Who are you calling? Someone who actually helps kids like you. 20 minutes later, they met Vanessa Cole in a library parking lot. Vanessa was 40-something, with kind eyes and the no-nonsense presence of someone who'd seen it all and still showed up. She ran a youth advocacy organization, kids in legal gray areas, real help, not platitudes. Vanessa sat in the back seat and listened to Jess's story without interrupting. Then she asked to see the wrist. Jess hesitated, pushed up her sleeve. The bruise was darker than Ellis had realized, fingerprint-shaped. Vanessa took photos, pulled out paperwork. Jess, I can't promise this will be easy, but I can promise you won't be alone. We're filing for emergency emancipation based on psychological abuse and controlling behavior. Jess's voice was small. Will it work? About 60% of cases like yours. And while we file, you stay in a supervised youth shelter where he can't access you. What about my mom? Vanessa's expression softened. If she chooses him over you, that's her choice, not your fault. Jess started crying, deep, wrenching sobs. I'm so tired of being afraid. Vanessa pulled her into a hug. You don't have to be afraid anymore. We've got you.
Ellis drove them to the youth shelter, a converted brownstone in Brooklyn. Security cameras, locked doors, trained staff. Safe. As Jess gathered her things, she turned to Ellis. Why did you help me? You could have just dropped me at a police station. Ellis thought about Danny, about Claire, about 8 years of easy paths. Because I'm done taking the easy path. Jess hugged him, quick and fierce. Thank you for believing me. Ellis's throat was tight. You're going to be okay. His phone rang. The stepfather. Ellis answered. She's safe. That's all you need to know. I will destroy you. Try, Ellis said calmly. But everything Jess told me has been documented. The tracking, the cameras, the bruises, all turned over to a lawyer. Silence. Want to report me for kidnapping? Go ahead. But the police will be more interested in why a 17-year-old was so desperate to escape your house that she was willing to meet an internet stranger. Ellis hung up. His hands were shaking. He'd just burned every bridge. But for the first time in 8 years, he'd chosen someone else over his own safety. And it felt right. Jess walked into the coffee shop, grinning. She looked different, rested, lighter. Emergency emancipation approved yesterday. Ellis felt relief wash over him. That's incredible. Your testimony clinched it. Jess pulled out paperwork. I got accepted into a program. Halfway house for emancipated minors. They help you finish school, get a job, learn independence. She squeezed his hand. You saved my life. Ellis shook his head. You saved your own life. I just drove. Jess smiled. You did more than drive. You risked everything for a stranger. That night, Claire called. I heard what happened with the runaway. Ellis was surprised. How? Vanessa is a friend of a friend. She told me what you did. Claire's voice was soft. That's the man I married. The one I knew was still in there. Ellis felt his throat tighten. I'm proud of you, Ellis, for choosing the hard right over the easy wrong. They talked for an hour, really talked. And when they hung up, Claire said, let's have coffee again next week. Keep talking. I'd like that, Ellis said. 3 months later, Ellis picked up Jess outside the halfway house. She wore a work uniform, bookstore job, and carried a report card. Look, 3 A's, 2 B's. I'm graduating on time. Ellis grinned. I'm proud of you. They went to the same diner, same booth. How's your mom? Ellis asked carefully. Jess's expression dimmed. She chose him, didn't fight the emancipation. I'm sorry. Jess shrugged. Vanessa says some parents can't choose their kids, and that's not my fault. She's right. Jess smiled. I have people now. Vanessa, the counselors, you. She looked at him. You check on me every week. Why? Ellis thought about Danny. Because it reminds me it's never too late to show up for someone.
That night, Ellis drove past Penn Station, where he'd picked up Jess 3 months ago, and he thought about how one decision to help instead of turning away had healed something broken inside him. His phone buzzed. Text from Jess. Thanks for dinner and everything. You're the closest thing to a dad I've ever had. Ellis pulled over, tears blurring his vision. He typed, and you reminded me what it means to be one. Some rides don't just take you somewhere. They bring you home to who you were always meant to be. Some rides end at the curb. Others go much further. If this story reminded you that one person can change a life, that courage means choosing the hard right, and that it's never too late to show up, subscribe to Taxi Driver Stories for daily journeys of hope and second chances. New stories every day, because sometimes the ride changes everything.